Good evening. Well, after I was finished watching that disgusting end to the Ranger game where they blew another one in overtime, earlier in the night, I got to see some New York Jets free agent news that I'd like to briefly discuss. The Jets, earlier in the day, I was frustrated because two of the top targets on the offensive line that I was really hoping for, I knew it was probably unrealistic to expect both of them, but I really wanted Joe Thuney, the guard from the New England Patriots, and or the center for the Green Bay Packers, Corey Lindsey. Well, it turns out Joe Thuney got a ridiculously massive contract to go to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 5-year, $80 million deal. And Corey Lindsey was, I think it was like 5 years, 72 million, a little bit less. It was a 4 or 5 year deal to go to the LA Chargers. Both players ridiculously massive contracts that, I mean, Joe Douglas couldn't have matched. I mean, especially Thuney for a guard. 5 years, 80 million is a lot of money for a team like the Jets. As good a player as Thuney is, there's so many holes on this roster. Same thing with Corey Lindsey. I mean, I really wanted at least one of them, and I actually was confident we were going to end up with one of them. But with the money that these two teams are willing to pay, especially the Chargers being a lot closer with Justin Herbert and the Chiefs just being the best team in the NFL. Let's be realistic. Until a team dethrones them, the Chiefs are still the best team in the AFC. I know some Bill fans will think otherwise, or some Bill fans that think they're the team to beat in the AFC, but Kansas City is still the team to beat. But anyways, but the bottom line is, later in the night, I felt a little bit better that we were able to agree with the terms with wide receiver Corey Davis on a 3-year, $27 million deal. Good buddy of mine's a Titan fan. I've watched a couple games. I've watched Corey Davis. He's a big physical guy. The couple games I've seen him play, he struggled to catch the ball a bit. But from what I've heard, he's normally a pretty reliable receiver. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a number one receiver, but he's a very solid, very solid, durable, hopefully durable receiver. We're going to be on the field, and you said he's big and tall. He complements his skill set. Those complement Denzel Mims, and then we can move Jamison Crowder into the slot and keep him there. And whether it's Zach Wilson, whether it's Sam Darnold, or whether, if very unlikely scenario, Deshaun Watson, those receivers you could work with. I like Corey Davis. Obviously, my first choice would have been. I was thinking, based on what I've heard for the scheme, Curtis Samuel, or even Juju Smith, just because of his chemistry with Sam Darnold, if we're keeping him. But Corey Davis isn't bad. I mean, let's be realistic. That's not an awful signing. So I am glad that to see that we did address the receiver position. So we can work with Davis to team up with Mims and Crowder. As far as defense, getting for the longest time since John Abraham, we have not had a pass rush, and now we agree to terms with Carl Lawson. The guy I wanted was Yannick Ngakoue, but he went to the Raiders to play with Gruden. And earlier in the day, it hurt because Judon went to the Pats. And the Pats spent a boatload of money just in this day with getting Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar and Matt Judon and Juwan Smith, Corey Davis's teammate in Tennessee. And I think it's Jalen Mills from the Eagles, his cornerback. Pats went on a spending spree, and you've never seen that before. So that's why I was also getting frustrated too. But it's kind of I'm feeling a little bit better now with the addition of Corey Davis and now Carl Lawson. Like I said, we haven't had an edge rusher since John Abraham, and pairing Carl Lawson up with Quinnen Williams in the interior line with Robert Saleh's defense, and he's going to be adjusting to a 4-3. That is. That's a big get, and he's only 25 years old, so it's nice to see that we may finally have addressed one of the weakest spots in the defense that we've had for years, and that's pass rush. But anyways, just wanted to leave my thoughts with that. Hopefully more moves are to come. I'd like to see another guard. I'd like to see a running back. Maybe some complementary moves before the draft, so we can shore some things up and before and put ourselves in a bit of a better position. I mean, we're still in the toughest division in football, in my opinion now, next to the NFC West. I mean, especially when you got the Patriots are going to be back and they're going to be loaded. They had a great day, and they just added some good players, and they're getting some players back that were out with because they opted out due to COVID. Patrick Chung, Dante Hightower. The Miami Dolphins were on the brink of making the playoffs. The Buffalo Bills were one win away from going to the Super Bowl. Mahomes and the Chiefs stood in that way. AFC East is loaded, and we still have a ways to go. But am I feeling better about the position now? Yeah. So that's the bottom line. I just want to give my brief thoughts and hope everyone has a good evening. And I hope the Jets do some more, kind of show up some more holes before draft time. All right. Have a good night.